What's up, guys? Hope y'all having a great day. Welcome to another episode of Encouragement and Inspiration. I know it's been a while. I haven't been, it's been 2 weeks right now. I think this is the second week actually, but I've been, a little busy. This actually might be the third week, but I haven't uploaded in 2 weeks. I know for sure. And guys, I've been really busy. I got my hair did. Got the little locks going on. They're not locked up yet, but they're braided together, but they're basically just locks. They're twisted, and they're just held together right now. But in 3 months, my the person that did the woman that did my hair, she said that they will be locked in 3 months, so minimum. So I'm excited about that. And I like what she did. It's got the little 3 rows. I kind of wanted to go with the what's it called? What's his name? Killmonger. I like Killmonger. I got the inspiration, I guess, from Killmonger as far as getting locks, and I just wanted to try something out. I actually cut my hair a little bit, and it's a small bit. It's basically a small fro now, and I still got a lot of hair. I mean, at least I think I do. But these would be so much longer if I had not cut my hair. But I like what she did. I wanted her to braid it back. I like how Killmonger in the last scene, or at least in the end, how his hair is braided up, or his dreads at least are braided up. But let's get back to this episode. So today, well, first and foremost, the episode is about. It's called "Confessions of a Christian Mind," and I don't know if any of you guys, listen to rap or at least Logic. He dropped the album. It was called "Confessions of a Dangerous Mind," and so this is kind of a little play on that. And it's also just generally this episode is mainly about music and why I feel like as Christians and the church world is kind of we kind of misconstrue the meaning of music, and especially rappers. I'm not saying I like all rappers, but I would say my favorite rappers are Logic, Kendrick Lamar, J. Cole, Drake. At least most of the time is, and I don't like all of Drake, but I've grown to actually listening to his music. Like, wow, I can really see what he's saying, and actually it's not all about turning up for the most part, or just he's actually speaking about something most of the time. It might not be something that you can connect with, but he actually does have some substance. That was the biggest thing with me. I just didn't understand, like, his music. It's not that his music was bad, it's just that he just wasn't one of my favorites. But I've grown to actually like him over the course of the past year or two, especially listening to some of his older albums. Well, not old, but just the albums that I really didn't listen to, which was "If You're Reading This, It's Too Late" and "More Life." But my favorite song from Logic's album "Confessions of a Dangerous Mind" is actually it's a song called "Confessions of a Dangerous Mind," and that wasn't my most favorite album, really. Honestly, I was kind of like, it's not bad, but it's just not my favorite album from him. I'm just ready for Ultra 85. I think it was called. I know it's called Ultra. I think it's 85 on the end though. I'm ready for that. I believe the last or one of the last concept albums, or maybe just one of the concept albums that he's yet to publicize and put out. But what I feel like when it comes to music, music is like the word they say. The word is the only thing that you can read, the only book that you can pick up, open up and read, and it reads you. And what I feel like music is a book with just a melody. That's really all it is. I mean, even David used to write songs, which are basically songs, if you would say song to God, and it's also a way of prayer as well. And while necessarily these rap music isn't necessarily a prayer, I feel like it's almost a way to put out your feelings, how you're feeling, and also put out what's on your mind, and put it you just write it down, and you just basically put a melody on it, put a beat on it. That's basically all it is. And I think that as Christians, we need to learn how to dissect music and look past the little cussing words and everything like that. I'm not saying that I approve of all the words that are said, but at the same time, when I feel like as a Christian, when you're alone and when you feel a certain way, and if you had the chance to basically say it out loud, some colorful language will be used. I don't know, like, we get angry as Christians. We get angry. Let's not act like we're all perfect and everything. We get angry, and I wouldn't say necessarily that all rappers put their feelings on a track. Sometimes they just simply, what comes to their mind, they're just saying. But a lot of these rappers, like Logic's one of them, he actually is putting how he's feeling on a track. He's not necessarily just, saying a whole bunch of mumbo jumbo. This is how he actually feels in a lot of his music. And like in Confessions of a Dangerous Mind, I would say that there was three bars, or I wouldn't say bars, three lines of, there was, I don't know how to say this. There's three groups. I don't know, because I don't know if they were bars. It's three groups of bars that I have right now. Basically, I'm just gonna say that because I don't know. I honestly don't necessarily know what the definition of a bar is. Like, I have not genuinely, saw an example of a bar. Like, I know what bars are. It's basically like, a line when you rap and everything like that. But I don't necessarily know like how many lines dictate a bar, basically. But so I'm just gonna say the three groups of things that Logic said in his song Confessions of a Dangerous Mind. And the first one is, and the public is constantly thinking they know him, but nobody knowing what's going on inside, and they wonder why they are high, or why we are high. And, with that right there, a lot of times we go to church as Christians with this smile, everything, we all good, everything is great, we love God, we love Jesus and everything, we worship and everything, but honestly inside we feel very heartbroken, sad. Something might have happened this week. We might be in depression, and we're just not feeling that well. And even then, there's times where I've been very sad, and I have to, put my feelings on just typing, and that's what I do, or write it down. Sometimes we have to realize that just because we go to church, just because we're Christians, especially Christians, we like to make everything look we like to dress everything up like, oh, I'm so, social media especially, everything's going all fine, God is good, when on the inside, honestly, you probably don't even feel like God has been good to you because of the things that have happened in your life. And it's great to be positive. It's the difference between being positive and actually confronting how you're really feeling. Because you can be positive, but at the same time, Jesus felt bad. Jesus was sad at times. He was positive, but he was sad at times. And then another thing that Logic said, he said, F social media. Like I said, I don't necessarily approve of all the language that's being said, but at the same time, we need to be able to look past the language and actually see what the artist is saying in the song and in the lyrics, to actually get to the the root, but what's beneath the surface. So it says, F social media, telling me who I should be and how I should rap. They always compare me to others and try to pit me up against all my brothers. And with social media, social media, that I would say social media is just a competition. That's all it is, that's not all it is. But a lot of times, personally, unless you're just like running a business, and even then, sometimes with that, it's a competition. But just like, I would say more so on the personal side. I don't want to get into everything else, but and I'm not talking about necessarily me, but I'm saying as people in general, when it comes to social media, it's almost like we trying to be the warriors when it comes to strength and numbers. That's basically how most of the time social media is. People just worried about numbers, worried about who like this. They look better than me, when half the time they honestly don't even look like that. And you might not even know on the other side of that screen, after they get done with that post, that picture, or whatever, they dying inside themselves. So, and we always comparing each other, especially when it comes to looking at a post. Like I just said, don't compare yourself to others, because honestly, you don't know what that person's going through. It might look good on the other screen, but at the same time, who knows what that person's going through. And it's good to be positive and everything, but like I said, don't compare yourself to others, because you don't know where they're at. Honestly, you don't know how they're actually feeling. So let's get. And another thing, oh my goodness, and he says at the end, and try to pit me up against all my brothers. Oh my god, social media, not necessarily Instagram, but when it comes to drama and just, it's this James Charles stuff just happened, and really this stuff I'm kind of like on the My Team community, which is like 2K. If some of you might not know, some of you that are watching me right now, that have been here with me for a while, I'm in the My Team community, but some of y'all don't. It's basically 2K, playing the video game, things like that. And Big C Richie is a great YouTuber and a great guy, at least from what I know and what I personally experienced. and you know, some things were said and everything. And honestly, social media, Twitter is kind of the place where the community kind of gathers, and you know, it kind of comes together. And it was just that something was said, and you know, insults were thrown back and forth. And I'm not saying that, you know, as a human we are defensive, we do get offended by things, but honestly, like, it's literally a community. That's what we call each other, a community. Why are we pitting like he just said, why are we pitting ourselves up against each other? Because honest, and then on top of that, so I'm not gonna sit there and say that, you know, it's kind of hard, because like, you have to call it what it is. And you can, there is a way where some things are perceived in a way that is encouraged, and things were said that kind of encouraged clowning Big C Richie. And but the same, like, bro, if anything, and also, just like I said, James Charles and Teddy Westbrook, I don't know what happened between them, but honestly, don't, why put stuff out on the internet? Like, don't make a big deal out of certain things. And if you're gonna do something, if you're gonna have beef, I would say put it, like, leave it out of the internet. Leave it between you two, like between, or a group of people, whatever it is. Leave it between you two, and don't say things. And be humble enough. Be humble enough. Oh my goodness, I'm gonna get to that. I'm gonna get to that later. I'm gonna get to that later. That's gonna be the last thing we say. Be humble, but be humble enough, like I said, to actually to apologize, to, you know, apologize for something that you might say that wasn't how you meant it, and you know, realize when you're also in the wrong. But man, social media a lot of times is used destructively to basically, you know, two brick walls coming together, creating friction, when honestly it should be like some two teddy bears coming together with love. And that was probably a bad analogy, but you get the whole gist of it. Last but not least, as it is even said in Logic's lyric right here, it says, he said at the end, last but not least, put your ego on the shelf and remember, love yourself. And one would say you need to put your ego on the shelf to love yourself, so that you can love others. You know, Jesus said that the greatest commandment is love your God with all your heart, mind, and soul, and then the second after that is to love your neighbor as you love yourself. But you can't love your neighbor until you love yourself. You have to love yourself. You gotta remember, love yourself. Put your ego on the shelf so that you can love others as you love yourself. And I know that sounds a little bit confusing, but a lot of times ego is what keeps us from loving each other, if you want to think about it. Like, something along the way. You know, there can be a lot of other factors, but generally ego is what keeps us from, you know, loving others as we love ourselves. You know, one would say that ego would keep Kevin Durant from staying with the Warriors because of what was said about him from ESPN, when these people get paid to do stuff like that. Like, they're gonna say stuff regardless. Like, bro, stop being so sensitive. That's a whole nother subject for another day. But as you can see, I mean, you're gonna have to listen to the song yourself. And I wanted to, I honestly didn't want to talk about music, Confessions of a Dangerous Mind today. I really wanted to talk about music, but I guess I was just gonna, you know, intertwine the two, and I wanted to do music today as this episode, and then Confessions of a Dangerous Mind next week, or the week, or whatever, the next episode. But I just intertwine them together. And Confessions of a Christian Mind is basically a Christian's mind, is basically what the title of this episode is. I hope you guys really enjoyed it. And guys, I will be, you know, I'll say I will not necessarily be on a every week schedule of uploading on when it comes to these episodes, because it's kind of a lot, especially when I have certain things I need to do, because I go to work at 1 and then I get off at 7, and then I go to work at 4 to 6, work out, go home, you know, clean up, or not necessarily clean up, but kind of get myself situated, read and things like that. And it's I have to discipline myself, but it's kind of hard when there might be 1 or 2 out of 3 days where 2 or 3 days where I'm kind of like busy. Like, to do my hair, it took 2 hours from 8:30 to 10:30. It took that long to do my hair. So you know, on those days it's kind of hard, because, you know, it's hard to spend time with God and then at the same time gather my information for, you know, for these episodes. But I will say I need to discipline myself, and actually I want to say every other week I want to post another episode or episodes. But guys, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope that guys, like I said, I hope you enjoyed it. But I just said that again. I don't know why I would say that again, but I was gonna say something else. But take what I said in, please, and bruh, please listen to music and actually go beneath the surface and not just I don't like a whole bunch of rap that turn ups all the time, the whole time. Like, I have nothing wrong with turning up, but at the same time, I do like listening to something that actually has substance to it. Like, even Logic, when he raps and turns up, it's still like a little substance to it. It's not just mumbo jumbo. But that's my take on it, guys. Take it how call it how you see it. I understand. Like I said, I'm not necessarily agreeing with everything that the rappers do say, but at the same time, I do believe that rappers are people that they kind of like artists. They're artists, and they write. Basically, they write books just with a melody. That's all it is. Music is just a book with a melody, lyrics with a melody, words with a melody. That's all it basically is. At least that's how I see it. And David was a songwriter, and he also wrote songs, which is basically songs. So go beneath the surface. Don't just simply read something. You see something bad. Oh my goodness, he's saying this type of language when he talking about something that you actually going through right there up underneath it. Like, actually read that, bro. It's something that you need. Stop looking at the cuss word. Look at the lyric below it. It might be something that you just might need or going through. For instance, you go to people at church, you see somebody with holes in their jeans. Oh my goodness, he got holes. So that man might have holes in his jeans, but he loves Jesus more than you do. You might need to learn something from that man, woman, child, whatever it is. But guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Confessions of a Christian's Mind. Hope you guys have a great day. It's your boy Goggles, aka, or it's your boy Jalen, aka Goggles. I'll see y'all later.